Linda sends her best wishes to you all. It was real emotional this morning. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm getting emotional myself. But she wanted to be here so badly. There was just, from the time she got up, it was just tears knowing that she shouldn't be here this morning. I think back when I was these guys' age, and think, oh man, Mom, I don't want to go. Can I just sleep in this Sabbath? And sometimes it'd be argumentative, and how interesting that somewhere along your life path that changes, and you know what? You do just about anything to get to church. When I woke up this morning and saw I had quite a bit of snow, obviously it's way too much hot air in Palisade because we didn't have near so much snow. It must have drifted up from Grand Junction. That's probably more the case. But anyway, I thought, man, I do not want to drive that old truck down. And I thought about last year when Linda and I did have to take the four-wheel drive truck, the water truck, and drive it to Sabbath school and church because we had so much snow and I couldn't get in and out of the driveway. And that was quite an experience. Sure was glad the truck made it down here and back because it's used to only going about 6 miles, each direction. But the other day, before the storm came, not for the purposes of coming to Sabbath school and church, but I put in the hubs of the truck and drove it down and parked it by the mailbox. Because I had a package coming from UPS, and I didn't want the UPS driver to come up my driveway, one, to tear up my driveway, and two, I'm always afraid he'll drive off in the wash, and I'll probably have to put in a claim to my insurance or something to get him out. But anyway, I find it interesting, changes in life. How so badly sometimes you want to be there at church. And at what time? Not so much. Well, who in this room today feels blessed? So what are you going to do about it? I guess we'll talk about that. In a recent survey, George Barna, I got this quote, but I don't know who George Barna is. I was going to look it up, and I didn't. But George Barna found that 72% of Americans believed that people are blessed by God so that they can enjoy life. Sounds reasonable. 52% agreed with the statement that the primary purpose of life is enjoyment and fulfillment. But you know what? Only a few percentage thought that they were called by God so that they could be blessed in order to be a blessing to somebody else. I know it's pretty hard to believe that I might be kind of shy at heart, and sometimes it's not easy for me to stand up here and talk in front of others, especially when I misplace my note. But, I get a blessing from it every time. Lord blesses me every time that I get up and speak. And I don't mean just here. I told you here once before, when Pastor and I went out and did some visitation here a while back, man, that 8 hours that one day we spent out there went by so fast. And I knew when I came home, I just felt such a blessing. And I know that everybody that we were able to contact that day got a blessing. Did you feel that way too? Yeah. And I think everybody ought to share that experience. Not all blessings are quite the same. There's different kinds of blessings. I'm told, I haven't had any Jewish friends. Kind of knew a Messianic Jew guy for a while. That was a little different situation. But I understand that one of the traditional daily Jewish prayer for men, first thing in the morning when you wake up, is, "Blessed are you, Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, who has not created me a woman." Now, that'd go over good in my household. If you said that prayer, you better say it in quiet. Pray to yourself. The inverse of that is the woman who prays, "Blessed are you, Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, who had made me according to his will." Which prayer do you like better? I kind of like the second one. There are lots of Bible verses about being a blessing to others. Scripture makes it really clear that God blesses us not so that we can live with greed, but so that we can bless others. God loves a cheerful giver. When he sees someone giving freely out of love, God blesses them even more. I'm not a real touchy-feely guy. I'm getting used to my grabbing me and hugging me, but a little bit, And that's been one of the tough things for poor Linda. Saying this particular kind of staff, it's not going to get spread by your breath, or coughing or whatever, but skin to skin touch. You ever thought about how often you touch somebody else? Probably not enough is actually the real answer. So how do we be a blessing to others? You can be a blessing by speaking kind words. You can be, and Kathy would appreciate this, you can volunteer in your community. You can set up on your Facebook page on your birthday that you want to collect donations to go to Adventist Community Services, and surprisingly find out that everybody that gave, except for the one exception, were not Adventists. That was really super cool. Even some who I didn't think would give to the charity I set up. You can be a blessing to others by sharing things. Share your playlist. We used to call them mixtapes. I know tapes go out with wax cylinders for photographs, but you share your digital files with somebody else, huh? How else? How else can you be a blessing to others? This is supposed to be interactive, so you can say something. How else can we be a blessing?
Just saying hello, just being kind to when you cross the paths.
Yeah, it's amazing. How does it make you feel when you say hello to somebody?
Makes me feel fine. The one that's with me wonders why I do it. But
Yeah.
then I get to share with them.
How about saying God bless every once in a while? When you see the Jewish guy in Grand Junction that's in a wheelchair and he's bought a few things at Sprouts and he's sitting at the table out there, and it's one of the peace times, and he's set up these candles, etc., and is saying his prayers, sitting there at the table. What can you say to him to be a blessing? would you? Or would you ignore him? I have to admit, I ignored him. But, it would be appropriate to say, God bless you. Or blessings from God to you. Sharing your testimony, of course, can be a blessing to others. Praying with somebody in need can be a blessing to others. And what's one of the biggest blessings that we haven't mentioned? And there's at least 3 people here that were in the same classes that I was in Lakewood that knows the answer to this.
Next question.
What is another one of the greatest blessings that you could have be to someone else that we haven't named? It's a big one.
Compassion.
You're taking it easy, though. Yes, it's compassion. How do we show compassion?
We show compassion by being willing to open ourselves up to their pain and help them carry that pain.
Help them carry the pain. You're certainly not supposed to absorb it.
No.
But that really wasn't where I was going. It seems like to me that one of the greatest ones, and one of the things that doesn't happen enough in our society, is listening to somebody else. How often do we ask somebody something like, yeah, how are you doing today or whatever, and then we start telling them all about how something else is going on. Never stop to listen. Or hardly ever listen. There's always an opportunity to bless someone. And you know what? The more that we seek to bless others, the more that God opens the doors that accomplish His will. And I'm already going in a different direction than I intended to, but think of some other ways that we can bless others.
Curtis?
Yes.
A memorable experience this week on Wednesday morning. I was scheduled to meet my farrier who takes care of my mule's hooves. I was scheduled to meet him at a farm in Olathe. And so I met Randy there at 10 o'clock Wednesday morning, in spite of the less than comfortable weather. But Randy was there, and not only did we have a good visit while he took care of my mule's hooves, but before he left, he made it a point to ask me, Mike, what can I pray about with you? And that was a memorable experience.
Absolutely.
Having someone ask, what can I pray about with you? And then to pray with me.
Sure.
During what would otherwise just be a business call, friendly business call, but to bring the Lord into it. It preached a sermon to me.
Absolutely.
We should always bring the Lord into it. Always.
The last, how long has it been now? 6 weeks? 2 months? Or whatever. So we've been going through some of these trials and tribulations in our household. But that means that I get to do all the cooking. That means that I end up designing the menus. That's the hardest one for me. She's always asking me, what would you like to have for dinner? Linda makes that list. She tries to line out what meals she's going to have for the next 2 weeks so that you can plan it out so we don't have to make extra trips going to Grand Junction especially now that I'm not working in Junction and can pick up stuff every night. And I rack my brain out. I can't think of things to fix. And now when I'm fixing them, But anyway, it turns out to be quite a blessing. And you know what? It's a blessing for me too. I might grumble a little sometimes, but you know, when I set those plates on the table, etc., and she says, honey, that was really a good meal. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. And sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. There's just so many things you can do.
Curtis?
Yes?
I think for young people, and I think with my grandchildren, now remember my grandchildren aged now from 11 months to 24.
Yeah.
Okay,
Quite a stretch.
but I think there's a commonality with our young people, and I think they will agree to this, is simply taking time when they want you.
Yeah.
In other words, they call me, they text me, they stop by the house to take the time and sit down and just learn what it is that is heavy on their hearts.
Absolutely.
And when we do that, that creates a relationship with them. And it doesn't even have to be your biological children or grandchildren. It's just young people needing to express fear, to express frustration, to ask for guidance. And when we do that, what a blessing it is to me and to them.
That gets back into that listening thing too. That's part of that. You know, they're used to not being listened to.
Truly,
You know this from when you sub in schools, etc. They are really shocked when you talk to them like a human being. When you meet in the hallway and stick a hand out, shake somebody's hand, open the door for them, or whatever, and treat a kid like they are special, they are not over. And I went to visit because of grandkids, etc., into another large school here in the valley during school hours. And I was really distraught at the way that I saw faculty and staff speak to students. It was horrifically disrespectful. So no wonder they have a little bit of discipline issues. You know, we didn't have that so much in our high school kids that I worked with. For one thing, the expectation was that they were university students, and if you set the bar, they usually rise to that. If you lower the bar, they will certainly drop to it. Proverbs 11:25-26 says, whoever brings blessings will be enriched, and the one who waters will himself be watered.
Amen.
The people who curse him, who hold back grain, are a blessing upon the man who sells it. I actually am stalling because I misplaced the notes. They're in that over there somewhere that I actually meant to bring today. But for me, it's always been a little tough being I'm not a touchy person, man. I grew up out here in the West, and we don't exactly hug a lot. And you know, men don't hold hands much and things. But you know what? I'm trying to get past that, and it's pretty interesting how well that works. People need to touch. And if I'd actually found the notes that I meant to present today, it's way back in psychology class. You probably, those of you who took section school, even in high school, we talked about this, about being nurturing. And there were studies. Do you remember the studies with the monkey? Because I can't remember the scientist's name. But anyway, they had baby monkeys, and so they had a surrogate monkey that was basically like a 2x4, and it had a bottle there that they could nurse from. But yet they had another one here that was kind of if I remember right, it was kind of a hardware cloth armature, and it had some cloth around it, and it had a face that certainly didn't look like a mother monkey. But the ones that only were allowed to go to the bottle didn't thrive. The ones that had a surrogate that could hold them, or they could cuddle them too, that could touch, they were the ones that thrived. We've learned a long time ago that babies in the hospital do better if they're healthy. You know, that's another place. I'm not so sure how exactly that works now, but it has been in the past. A place where you can volunteer to hold babies in the nursery because they needed to be held. Sometimes there isn't enough people to hold babies. We need to think about that as we try to do outreach things. You know, I know it's one of my grumpiness things, etc. But tracts are great. Mailings are okay. But it's the personal touch is what people thrive. I've told you before that this generation coming up is one of the loneliest group of people. I don't know you kids. Didn't you guys feel lonely? I wouldn't think so. Do you? Maybe sometimes. But so many now feel lonely because their best friend you can hold in your hand. And the only communication they have back and forth with their friends is, hey, I'm old. I don't know. I'd like to say Twitter, but Snapchat. And what's the hot one right now? Gus, say louder, because I'm also old and can't hear. Snapchat's the thing?
Exactly.
Yeah? I think Snapchat's even getting kind of aged. But anyway, that's communicating. And it's really sad. It's really sad. One of the things that I'm investigating and I'm really thinking about doing is in trying to be a blessing is there again, after we did the crisis care thing, man, I tell you, the Holy Spirit's really been working on me hard. And Kim had something to do with that too. They trying to figure out ways to put into practice some of that training before we actually have to use it in another kind of a disaster. Kathy here a while back said, hey, I'm going to go be grandma. I think that's disgusting. I can't imagine why she'd want to go clear out to the plains and be grandma and not go to a MOAD meeting and said, Tag, you're it. Or Valerie. I said, oh man, because Linda was having some issues, and I said, oh no. So I write with Valerie, and Valerie says, I'm out of town, I can't go. So anyway, I went. It was great. I meant to take notes. I don't take notes. I'm a product of public education, and I don't take notes. I had a journal in school. I'm not about to now. But one of the things that came up was they had the volunteer coordinator for the sheriff's office. And they've got it's not a new program. They're starting a next set of recruits for their victims advocacy program. And regardless of whether your crisis care team or our crisis care team, whatever, is in Mason County or Grand Junction also has one with their PD, but probably everywhere of any size, I'm sure there's a victims advocacy group. And when you look at the criteria, they almost match. And so I'm really looking into that. And because I think that would be some way to kind of keep that information fresh, that is also a way of being a blessing to somebody else. The Lord blesses in lots of ways. He's blessed us in numerous ways. You know, I can't tell you how many times. You know, I really wished, there I said I don't journal. I wished I would have a long time ago. Journal blessings, it's been a blessing to me. There were times when we were struggling so badly financially, and it just seemed like things were not going to work out. And we'd just be a few dollars short. Yeah, probably $100 short. Yeah, it's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. God would provide somehow. I mean, it just doesn't make rational sense that suddenly that cash that you had on a rebate on something that you weren't thinking about shows up at your door. Or somebody hands you $100 bill. Says, hey, I just had a feeling that you needed this. And yeah, don't worry about it. Just take it. I seen a little rambler on a TV the other day, and I said, oh man, look, Linda, that's just like a little rambler we used to have. I said, I sure wish now that we'd had that little car, because it was a nice little car. The girl that had it, her parents had bought her this little Rambler American, and it had been truly the little old lady's car. The car people would call it a barn find. It didn't have hardly any miles. She put seat covers on it when it was brand new, and it looked like brand new, and it had Michelin X radial tires that cost way more than the car was worth. And it was a great little car. And that's the car we had when Brandy was born. Anyway, I saw this one on TV, and I said, wow, you know, sure wish I still had that car, and it was in the garage, and look how cute that is. Wouldn't that be fun driving that around? She said, well, yeah, but don't you remember? And I do remember. I had a wisdom tooth, and it was impacted, and it had to come out. And so my dentist sent me to the oral surgeon. And I tell you what, it was a lot like the meat market or something. They had multiple people lined up and doing things and so on and so forth. And the only time I'd ever been have more than one patient in the same exam room type thing, and I was like really done in. And they told me what they needed to do, and they said, and that'll be this is a long time ago, that's be $150 we need now, and we'll take care of this. And how am I going to do that? And it just didn't make sense. I said, figure it out. I mean, this is what can we work out? Oh, $150. And so I left with a sore mouth. Thought, what am I going to do? I went home, I told Linda, I says, we're going to sell the car. Don't need it really anymore. Need the cash. Put a for sale sign on the car. I hadn't paid as much as $150 for that car, but I figured, man, I'm going to sell this car for what I need to get the bill for the dentist. put that for sale sign on it, went to work. People came, knocked at the door, asked Linda about the car. She said, well, it's for sale for that price. And she says, I think it needs a little oil. And says, the brakes, I think maybe need some work. And, man, it never wants to start whenever it's cold. It's really slow. I come home, and she told me all that, and I thought, you've learned lessons from my mother so much. Because she did the same thing to me, too. And the next day, people came back and gave me money. I bought the car. And I paid the doctor's bill. I had my teeth fixed. Is it always easy to do what the Lord asks us to do? We talked about it in our lesson. When the Lord said to Abram, leave your native country, leave your relatives, leave your father's family, go to the land that I'll show you, and I'll make you a great nation. And I will bless you, and I'll make you famous, and you'll be a blessing to others. We talked about that in class a little bit. It's tough to get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes we just really don't want to do that. And the Lord asks us, He puts us in spots just to shake us out of dead center, for us to be a blessing to somebody else. And it just always amazes me. I wish I was always a blessing. Sometimes I'm not so much a blessing. But I'm a work in progress. I would imagine you are too. Well, I've struggled along here a little bit, but before I leave, I want to give you a blessing. I found this blessing. Shannon ought to be the one to recite this blessing, because I'm sure it came from the land of his father's origins. But I really like it, and it's just been bugging me, and I got to read it out loud to somebody. So you're it today. May the blessing of light be upon you. Light on the outside and light inside. With God's sunlight shining on you, may your heart glow with warmth, like a turf fire that welcomes friends and strangers alike. May the light of the Lord shine from your eyes like a candle in the window, welcoming the weary traveler. May the blessing of God's soft rain and soft snow be upon you, falling gently on your head and refreshing your soul with the sweetness of little flowers newly blooming. Hard to think about springtime things right now. But man, standing out in the snow the other day as the snow was coming down, where I'm at, it was so quiet. It was so great. It was just surreal. And it truly did refresh. May the strength of the winds of heaven bless you, carrying the rain to wash your spirit clean, sparkling after the sunlight. May the blessing of God's earth be upon you as you walk the roads. May you always have a kind word for those you meet. May you understand the strength and power of God in a thunderstorm and in the winter, and the quiet beauty of creation and the calm of a summer sunset. And may you come to realize that, insignificant as you may seem in this great universe, you are important. You are a part of God's plan. May He watch over you and keep you safe from all harm. Amen.